Start பண்ணுவா. Very good morning to everyone. On behalf of PPG management and staff members, I welcome you all for today's webinar about vaccine development landscape and career opportunity abroad. First, I want to thank our management, our chairman Dr. LP Thangavelu sir, our correspondent Mr. Santi Thangavelu ma'am, our trustee Mr. Akshay Thangavelu sir, our principal Mr. Vijay Raghavan sir. Now I request Principal Dr. Vijay Raghavan sir to introduce about today's webinar resource person. Thank you so much.
And career opportunities abroad. So the talk will be delivered by a very important personality, Dr. Hardik Amin, Research Associate, Center for Translational Medicine, Department of Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences, CAG School of Pharmacy. Okay. Dear students and my colleagues, a very good morning to all of you. Today we are having a webinar on the topic vaccine development landscape and career opportunities abroad. The talk will be delivered by a very associate Center for Translational Medicine, Department of Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences, CAG School of Pharmacy, University of Montana, Missoula, Montana. It's my pleasure to invite you, sir, with you have spent your you are going to spend your valued time with us. So it will be a very good
opportunity. Yeah, it is my pleasure to join here for this webinar. I hope you all can hear me properly. If yes, then I can go ahead with my presentation. I will take it as a yes. So I'm going to present, I think, two topics here today. One is vaccine development landscape and career opportunities abroad. Um,
Thank you,
okay,
sir.
am I good to go?
Now I request Assistant Professor Mrs. Lydia Smiley,
Okay.
ma'am.
Formally invite Dr. Hardik Amin, postdoctorate research associate in Department of Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences, University of Monanta, United States. We welcome you, sir. He is a pharmacist. He, he is a pharmacist and scientist with a decade of research experience in formulation development and nanoparticle mediated drug delivery system. He completed his B.Pharm in Rajiv Gandhi College of Health Sciences, Bangalore, Karnataka. He pursued pharmaceutical technology in King's College, London. He done his PhD in nano drug delivery system in Ajwa University, South Korea. He started his career as biology and chemistry teacher to high school students. He worked as a research scientist in King's College, London, and is successfully synthesized in is successfully synthesized in new protein fatty acids conjugates for cancer treatment. Preparation and evaluation of novel drug transferring stearic acid nanoparticles in cancer targeting. He found new growth opportunity for company's product and proposed marketing plans leadership. He completed his postdoctorate fellow in National Cancer Institute, Maryland, USA, where he successfully proposed a delivery of protein to cancer cells by liposomes formulations in vitro study and in difference in blood-brain tumor barrier and brain drug delivery system. His current achievements on ongoing projects are he successfully pushed flu, COVID, and opioid vaccine for GME combined. Two human trials are expected mid next year. Sir, we wish you a successful year. Once again, we welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Thank you, Mrs. Lydia Smiley, ma'am. Now I give this session to our resource person, Dr. Hardik Amin, sir. Sir, please start the session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for kind invitation and introduction. Um, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to give this presentation in two parts, one about the vaccine development landscape and second about the career opportunities. So let's go about the vaccine first. So vaccines are kind of agents that make your body realize and get them ready sort of for harmful, to defend against harmful organisms like bacteria, viruses. And when we give vaccine, we give kind of like a preview of a pathogen. So a small part of a pathogen mostly to the body so that body can develop antibody and T cell response against those small part of the pathogens. And when the actual infection happens, body can fight it back easily. Um, so vaccines are nothing but a weak or dead pathogens that are introduced into the body, and the body will develop antibody or T cell against those weak germs, and when actual infection happens, we can fight it off. There are different kind of vaccines. Starting from the right side, if you can see inactivated viruses, protein subunit, virus particles, and if you move towards the left side, the technology become more and more modern. So earlier time we used to have inactivated vaccines, like cholera or anthrax vaccine developed by Louis Pasteur. And then came protein subunit vaccines, which are kind of common nowadays. And this is the vaccine that I works on, protein subunit vaccine. Virus-like particles and viral vectors, they are also kind of recent development. If you remember about the AstraZeneca vaccine for the COVID, that is viral vector vaccine. And then we have DNA and RNA vaccine. RNA vaccine is, actually I got the RNA vaccine here from Pfizer BioNTech. So these are the new technologies. To give you some example of the vaccines, inactivated vaccines like flu, polio, rabies, subunit like hepatitis B, virus-like particles, HPV vaccine. I would really recommend anyone to go for this HPV vaccine because this is a new vaccine, not much marketed in India, but if you can get it, you should get it. Viral vector vaccines like Ebola vaccine, actually there is a vaccine for the Ebola. It is just not much popular, but in African countries, Ebola became kind of endemic 5-10 years ago, and the vaccine was developed for that. And DNA RNA vaccines, they are the recent developments. There is no DNA vaccine in the market as of now, but there is one RNA. There are two RNA vaccines, one from Moderna and one from Pfizer BioNTech. So, sorry, I want to go back again and give you a little bit more information about inactivated vaccine. So what is inactivated vaccine? Inactivated vaccine is something where you literally take microorganism and inactivate them by some kind of chemical or some other treatments. Subunit vaccine is where you take just a part of microorganism, like mainly protein or the carbohydrate polymers that are on the surface of some bacterial films, and that you use as a subunit vaccine. So you have like a part of microorganism in the subunit vaccine. Virus-like particles are where you take proteins, you take viruses, but they are not harmful viruses. There is some disturbance, but it's okay. Virus-like particles are where you take virus and modify these viruses so that they can act like a vaccine. And DNA RNA is something where you literally take genetic materials out of, like genetic materials that codes for the proteins for the virus, and that way you can get immunity against those proteins. So moving to next slide, you must have heard about lots of vaccines and from which company they are coming out recently because of the COVID-19. So here is some example that on the left side you can see the RNA, Pfizer BioNTech, which is a collaboration between Pfizer and BioNTech company and Moderna. They came up with RNA vaccine, which is a very new technology. And then viral vectors are something that Oxford AstraZeneca has. I think it is available in India through Serum Institute of India. So whatever the vaccine Serum Institute is making, it is actually viral vector vaccine. CanSino is Canadian Chinese company. They are also developing viral vector COVID-19 vaccines. Then whole virus vaccine. So whole virus is like live attenuated, where you take the virus and make them like really weak. And one of our Indian company, Bharat Biotech, is actually that vaccine for the COVID is actually whole virus vaccine. And next is protein subunit vaccine. So there is a company in US which called Novavax, and there is one Chinese academic institution, Chinese Academy of Sciences. They are developing protein-based vaccine, and actually I am also developing protein-based subunit vaccine for the COVID-19. So there are lots of labs which are working on this kind of vaccines, which are kind of traditional vaccines where you take a protein from COVID from the virus. So for example, for the COVID-19, the virus is SARS-CoV-2, and the protein we take is a spike protein. So we take spike protein, make nanoparticles, add some immune stimulating agent, and that's the vaccine. So these are the different kind of vaccines that people are developing for COVID-19. Now, moving to the vaccine landscape, who developed the vaccine? So um, I'm not sure actually about like how much news are spread across the continent, but if you can, is there a problem? Can you see my slides? Okay, so there is some issue with my videos. It seems I'm going through my slides, but you cannot see it. It's not moving somehow. Let me stop sharing and I will try it again, because sorry, I didn't realize that you were not able to see my slides properly earlier. Let's see if you can see this one. Okay. Okay. And I think now I'm going to move my slides. Okay. So now it is visible. I apologize that I didn't know that like you were not able to see any slides when I was moving. So just to recap quite quickly, these are the different kind of vaccines, like inactivated virus, protein, virus-like particles, viral vectors, DNA and RNA. And as you go from right to left, the technology become more and more advanced. And these are the example of different kind of vaccines. For example, inactivated vaccines, which are kind of old vaccine, flu, polio, rabies, and subunit vaccines are hepatitis B vaccine that some of you might have taken. And then the new vaccine comes like virus-like particles, HPV, which is very recent vaccine, Gardasil. And just last year, this vaccine came, the RNA vaccine from Moderna and Pfizer, the last one. And these are just the example of different vaccines that are being developed or are already been developed for COVID-19. And this is where I think I went back. So now I want to move towards vaccine landscape. So who are the big players in the vaccine development and how they are interconnected with each other? So if you can see from the right side, the picture, the one in the red is Dr. Anthony Fauci. The one in the blue circle is the NIH director, Francis Collins. And the one in the yellow is Dr. Corbett, who is like very popular scientist, woman scientist who developed COVID-19 vaccine in US actually. The one on the top with the rabbit is Louis Pasteur, who developed one of the first sort of vaccines, not the first, but after that, like cholera, anthrax, and rabies, very important at that time. So if you think about who developed the vaccines around the world, there are three main key players. One is government, second is pharma, and third is non-profits. And they all play very important role in how the vaccines are made, how they cost, and how they are distributed. So we'll go through this one by one. So there are non-profits like, so this is just one example of how different players are connected. This is the slide from ACT Accelerator program by WHO. So WHO, Bill Gates Foundation, World Economic Forum, and Wellcome Trust, they are, and UNICEF, they are like main players in the vaccine. And there are governments which are involved. So you can see like lots of governments are involved into this program. And then comes three different parts where one is vaccine partnership, like NGO organization, and then the therapeutic partnership where some other small players come into picture, and diagnostic partners. Uh, the overall um, connection work into this way that first they focus on the R&D and then manufacturing and then procurement. It means like, for example, different pharma company will make the vaccine like Serum Institute or Pfizer or Moderna, but who gets how much? That is very important decision, that how vaccines are distributed around the world equally, and the deployment, which is like supply chain, that you have to maintain proper temperature, cold chain when you supply the vaccine. How you are going to make this possible? It's a like a logistic nightmare when it comes to supply chain. But just like with the partnership of government and this organization, it is possible to make this happen. One player cannot do this on their own. So unlike pharma, vaccines are very like joint efforts by different parts. Now I will explain a little bit about some of the NGOs, like non-government organization and probably non-profit organization that play key role in vaccine development. So one of these is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they have done tremendous work in Africa and some Asian countries to make sure that people have access to clean water, proper medications and vaccines. And sometimes it is not visible, but when you look at the data, it is like very apparent that they have made tremendous impact. The second is CEPI. CEPI is short for Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and the concept was actually initiated by Indian government. CEPI has headquarters in Europe, I think Netherlands, and they have some funding from different European countries. And you can see that their mission is to actually provide the vaccine and provide a proper access to each and every country, no matter if they are poor or rich. And there is one very important scientist from India, Dr. Gagandeep Kang. She is also, I think she is in Tamil Nadu, Christian Medical College, Vellore. And she's very prominent vaccine scientist. Like lots of people know her very well, and she has done very important work in terms of vaccine research and providing equitable access of vaccine to Africa and India. Gavi is another organization which short for Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization. This organization actually supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So they have very close tie with Gates Foundation. But Gavi is more about vaccine, whereas Gates Foundation is all about like healthcare and poverty. Gavi especially just focus on vaccine, and they have tie with WHO, UNICEF, and like big world bodies. And they are based in Washington DC, USA, the headquarters, but they are like present all over the world. And one organization is PATH. PATH is actually very important organization. They really put lots of efforts in developing new vaccines, new technology. They are, I think, developing a vaccine which can not require like cold temperature. So their focus is mainly on Africa and like hot climate, that how to provide vaccine at very normal temperature. And they are also everywhere, but they are based in Seattle, Washington, in US. Moving to pharma and biotech now, like the earlier organizations were like non-profits. Now it comes to something which has profit in the mind, but they are doing really nice job at providing vaccines. And these are the key players of the vaccine manufacturing and R&D. So you can see here very two important names from India here: Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech. Many of you may know now, but if you don't, then India is the one who provides almost 60% of vaccines to the world. So like manufacturing wise, we are the very important key player in providing vaccines to lots of South American countries and African countries, and at very reasonable price. Moving to government organization, WHO, UNICEF, of course, they are very big bodies, and they were actually established for in parts to provide healthcare access to each and everyone. So they are a very important player in the vaccine development. But apart from there are like other government players. NIH is very big one because I think whatever the vaccine got developed in USA, it was because of the NIH. They were the one who gave funding, and they gave funding to like not just these few companies that you see in the news, but probably 100 to 200 different academic labs as well to develop COVID vaccine. So this kind of organization, Wellcome Trust is very big organization in UK and CSIR in India. And lots of time we don't hear about their success, but they are doing lots of important work behind the doors that we don't hear much in the media. So these are very important key players. So these are the academic players. There are actually so many academic players that are like pushing the innovation, making different changes in how the vaccines are developed. But these are the main one that are like key players for at least COVID-19 vaccine. Oxford, you know that like the vaccine you are actually getting in India from Serum Institute is because of the Oxford. This is like they came up with the whole R&D idea how to develop the vectors, and that's why we have the vaccine. National University of Singapore is making mRNA vaccine. Imperial College is coming up with the new vaccine for the new variant of the COVID-19. University of Pennsylvania, I think this name is still not much outside in the media, but this is where the key research happened in how to modify the mRNA. So because of this, we have two vaccines in USA which are working very well. But the key innovation happened at University of Pennsylvania. Mount Sinai has always done, like Mount Sinai, Texas, Washington University, Harvard, they have always done like so many research on the vaccines, and lots of the new vaccines are coming out of this academic institution. You don't see their name much in the media because the vaccines or research gets bought by pharma company later, and then they manufacture the vaccine. But the costs are not that high usually. No one try to get more profit out of vaccine. And these are the very important academic players that I really admire. So from top left, Dr. Hotez, who is at Texas University, then Anthony Fauci. On the right side, you have Professor Carico. She is the one who can probably get Nobel Prize in few years. And she is the one who modified the mRNA. So that's why we have the vaccine. Bottom left, bottom right, we have Maurice Hilman. He was from the same place that I am now here in Montana, and he developed almost 20 different vaccines about 30-40 years ago. Just imagine like one person coming up with 30-40 different vaccines. It's tremendous amount of the work. We have here on the Times cover Dr. Sahin from Biomedical. You may know about everything about them now, that he and his wife, they developed mRNA vaccine. And on the left we have Salk. Dr. Salk, he developed a polio vaccine, which made a tremendous improvement in life of lots of Indians. So now I want to move. I think I have 15 minutes, and this is a good time to move to the next section of my presentation on career opportunities abroad. I was lucky to have opportunity to go outside after I did my B.Pharm, and I explored quite a lot. I have been to UK, South Korea, and US. and I know kind of landscape of education, research, which options are better, which options are not that good, how to apply, stuff like that. So I want to share a little bit of my learnings with you. First of all, going abroad, what is the difference in being like doing your master's or PhD in India versus going abroad? I think these are the main key differences. One is that you get out of the different, like you get out of the system. You get to experience different culture, different way of education, different way of learning, and it might be helpful for you. For example, if you don't like to memorize lots of things, but if you like to solve the problem, then foreign education can be really good option. Uh, Second is like getting access to different country and probably settling down for a long time. If you are interested into research like me, then the sky is the limit actually in the foreign countries, because you get unlimited funding. The funding is tremendous, so you can do whatever the research you want to explore. You get much more freedom in terms of what you want to do in the lab, and better career growth. I would say India is getting far better now that I think in 10 years we won't have much difference between foreign countries or India. I think you will have much more better future in India as well. But as of now, some of the foreign countries seems better option for work, at least to get some initial experience and then move back to India after some years. I want to tell you about some of the countries, namely Germany, South Korea,
Hello.
UK. Hello, is there any issue with my presentation? Okay, I will just continue. So I want to mention you about Germany, UK, South Korea, and US. First of all, about the Germany, Germany has free masters and PhD programs. You just have to go to this link. If you can even just Google this link like dart.de, and you can access the page where they have like list of scholarships, and you have to apply for the scholarships. But once you get the admission, everything is free. Education is free. Of course, you have to pay for your living expense, which is in the euros, so it is little bit high. But I'm sure you can take a loan and then pay back once you start working. However, the main important thing is that if you want to work in Germany, you should know German language, and that's why you should learn some German language before you actually go to Germany. So keep in mind to learn the language before, like if you are really sure, like serious about going to Germany. The benefit is that you will have free education, and also you can move anywhere in the Europe after your education. Uh, Second is about UK. I did my master's in UK. The advantage of UK degree is that the master's is only 1 year, but the fee is high. So it's like pros and cons. So what do you want to do? If you want to finish your education very quickly, then you can be a good option, but it will be like difficult, like paying fees kind of really difficult over there. The money is quite a lot. However, if you do master somewhere else and you want to move to UK for PhD, then it can be a very good option, because the PhD is like fixed time, only 3 years, maximum 4 years. So it is a fixed PhD. It happens very quickly. You get free, like you don't have to pay any fee, and you also get stipend. So you get kind of salary as well. And I think mostly you will have to give IELTS and show some good IELTS score. Now moving to US, master is 2 years normally, as it is everywhere. The fee is about 24 to 50,000 US dollar for the 2-year course. And it is difficult to get any kind of scholarships during the masters, but it is not impossible. You might be able to. However, PhD is free. you don't have to pay any fee for the PhD, and you get stipend about $1,800 per month, which is not too much of a money, but it is good enough money to survive and live happily. The PhD can like go from 5 years to 6 years in the US. So it's a long-term commitment. Make sure if you want to do, the good thing is that you can directly take admission into PhD program without any master's. So once you complete your B Farm, you can just directly go for PhD. The, the disadvantage is that if you are not well trained, it will take more time to complete the PhD, and it is a long time commitment. So you should be really very well confident that what you want with your life. Are you like, do you want to go into research field or not? Don't do PhD just for the sake of like fee waiver or stipend. Uh, and like I think lots of people have apprehension that you need very high score in the GRE, but nowadays the universities have changed their stance on GRE. Lots of universities have waived GRE requirement, and if not waived, then they are not giving that much importance to GRE score. So don't worry about your GRE much, I would say. You will still need TOEFL or IELTS score, but GRE should not be an issue as of now. And lastly, I want to talk about South Korea. I did my PhD in South Korea, and the easy thing about South Korea is that you just need to email professors that you like. So you research about their lab. If you like their kind of work, you email that professor and ask them that, do you have any position for PhD scholar? I want to work with you. If they say yes, you get fee waiver, you get scholarship, and you get like monthly salary. You still have to like take IELTS and show some score, but the score is kind of low, like 6 or above is fine. To give you an example of my situation, in 2012, I sent this email to my PhD supervisor, just very short email with my CV attached. And in 2 days, he replied that, okay, I'm okay to give you position in my lab, and I will give you salary and everything. So it is that simple to get admission into South Korean universities, as long as the professor likes your profile and they want to work with you. In my case, I knew that I wanted to work in the nanotechnology drug delivery, and I searched in the Google Scholar with the search term that nanoparticles South Korea, and lots of research papers came out. And then I searched who is the main author on the article, and then I contacted them through email. And this was the CV at that time that I made and sent him. Just 2-page small CV, little bit about work experience, research experience, my qualifications, education background. Yeah, so very simple, nothing more. And so South Korea is like very open ground if you want to go there. Also, masters is also free, and also you will get stipend, monthly stipend there for doing masters, 2-year program as well. The only downside of South Korea is that the working hours are quite long, so you have to prepare to work for at least 10 to 11 hours in the lab from Monday to Friday. But otherwise, apart from that, everything is very nice. So I would say that if you want to go abroad, and if you are applying for US or South Korea specifically, where the professor's recommendation for the admission matters a lot, research first about the lab. If you like the lab, whatever the area they are working, then send them email. In your email, be like genuine and direct. Whatever you want out of that, be genuine who you are. Do not exaggerate what you are, but be genuine. For example, if you can read it here in my email, I just mentioned that this is what I did in terms of education, and I'm interested into nanotechnology based drug delivery systems. and I had some experience working with dry powder for inhalation, tablets, and that's it, nothing else. I just wrote like 3 4 lines, and that worked because being genuine and direct sometimes, not sometimes, but like it has always worked for me that I just send email directly to whoever I want to contact, and I keep it short, attach my CV, and I've always found it works very well. So thank you so much for your attention and good luck with your endeavors. If you have any question, you can ask me or you can reach out to me in the future or through my email or anything.
Thank you, sir. Now I will call upon Professor Dr. Karpasamy sir for clearing his doubt regarding and vaccine. Regarding vaccine.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Hi, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I can hear you. Yes.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good
Yes, sir.
morning.
Good
I can
morning,
hear
sir.
you.
Can you
I
hear
can
me,
hear you
sir?
properly. Yes.
Sir, first question. So nowadays, Covaxin and Covaxin Shield, Covishield, it is available in that Indian market. So what is the difference between those, sir?
The technology is different. I mean, I'm not sure about the brand names, but I know one thing that one is from the Serum Institute of India, and that vaccine has viral vector. Can you hear me? Okay. So the Serum Institute of India is making vaccine. Okay. So Serum Institute of India is making vaccine from the technology given by AstraZeneca and Oxford. So that vaccine has viral vector, and Bharat Biotech, they are making their own vaccine. And what they are doing is that they are taking the live virus and they are like weakening the virus. So that's live attenuated vaccine, which is like more traditional technology. So in terms of technology, Bharat Biotech is using very traditional old method for vaccine. Serum Institute is using a new technology and new method for the vaccine. Do you have
You said,
any?
sir, yeah, sir. Sir, next question. You said about that career opportunity. So nowadays, pharmacovigilance and medical coding is the
Mhm,
boom for the pharmacovigilance and medical coding, sir.
mhm.
So how it is actually working in that foreign countries?
Um,
Yes, sir.
so regarding pharmacovigilance, medical coding, um, I don't see much opportunities actually in the foreign countries. Most of the time, these jobs are they usually get transferred to clinical research organizations like TCS, Tata Consultancy is very big name in India for that, or PPD Pharma. But most of these jobs they go back to India actually, or some sort of Asian countries. So in the foreign countries like Americas or Europe, there are not much jobs in pharmacovigilance.
So what about medical coding, sir?
Same, not much jobs here, but they get transferred somewhere else in Asia. I would give one very important advice that I think if you want, like when you think about which area you want to do your master's or PhD, first think about what are your likes and dislikes. Maybe like something is popular today, but it may not be popular after 10 years. So if you go into an area which you don't like, but just it is popular, you may not like it working for like your whole life, right? And something which is not popular, but if you like it, then go for that area, because if you are really good at that, you will prosper no matter what. For example, if you like um, quality controls, dealing with analytical instrument, right? It is not a popular area, but if you are really good at it, you will prosper. You won't have any issue moving anywhere in the world with that kind of degree and that kind of expertise, because you need quality control people everywhere in the world, right? It is just not popular, but it is always a good career choice. So first think about what you like and what you don't like, and then this is my suggestion for the students who want to go, like who want to go for further studies.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Is there any question?
Thank you, Dr. Karpasamy, sir. Now I request Assistant Professor Miss Yamla, ma'am, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you for inviting me.